I was working in the kitchen at the time. I was a KP washing dishes.
On the day of the shooting, I was working in transcription.
I was working in the ER at Fairchild.
At the time, I would have been just considered, or the job title would have been a mental health technician.
I worked in the clinical inpatient records section.
I worked in the OBGYN clinic.
I was a physician assistant. It was my first duty assignment as a PA.
I had actually just stepped out of my office when I heard 3 gunshots. At the time, I did not know.
I took the elevator and I heard gunshots. But your mind doesn't necessarily allow you to believe what you're hearing because, you know, a medical facility doesn't have gunshots.
I heard what I thought was a backfiring car, and I thought the car was going to come rolling by my window any moment. I kept kind of craning my neck to see it come by because I was not familiar with gunfire of any kind.
I thought they were some oxygen bottles that had gotten knocked over. I heard somebody scream, but didn't think a whole lot of it because we were in the basement at the time.
We heard a page, an overhead page, that said that there was a man with a gun and to take cover.
So luckily for me, the elevator never did open. It went straight down to the basement where I worked.
And I turned to go towards the sound, and something just told me, no, go to the bathroom, because I was headed to the ladies' room. And I went into the ladies' room and sat there in the ladies' room and in the lounge for a while.
There was an exercise going on at that time, so one of the other transcriptionists asked if we thought that was part of the exercise, and we said no, we didn't think so because they didn't announce that it was an exercise.
His first target was Dr. London, his second target was Dr. Brigham, and he shot and killed them both. And then he came into our admin office and he was coming after Kathy and I, but after the second shot, Kathy pretty much got under the desk.
I heard shots. And one of my co-workers, Kathy, said, is that, that's the construction. That's construction on the building. And I said, no, Kathy, that sounds like gunshots.
And I went around, that's when Dean came through the door and he had the gun pointed right in my face. But the only thing that was helpful to me at the time was there was a file cabinet between me and him. And there was a desk where we had a computer to book appointments in a mental health clinic. And of course, I went down to the right. I got down right away and went to the right to race him toward the other door because I wanted to lock the other one at least. And he left out of there.
We pulled in everybody who was there at that time into the clinic.
And it was getting louder and closer, and just an instinct that you need to take cover. You need to prepare yourself. And this was 1994, before 9/11, and so we're in a lot of deployments.
And then I saw her and she said, run, he's got a gun. And when she said that, your body just goes, okay, run, hide, fight, you know.
There's somebody out there shooting people. So I ran back to my area where I felt safe and kind of hunkered down underneath the counter.
I saw the bullet holes, I saw blood, just remnants of like a war zone.
Andy Brown, who had been on a bicycle patrol in the housing unit, heard the commotion, went over.
Senior Airman Brown came up on him and told him to drop his weapon, and he didn't comply. He actually did charge it again. He was getting ready to shoot. It would have fired again if Senior Airman Brown hadn't shot him and stopped him. So there was just like, there was chaos. It was just absolute chaos everywhere.
And I have to proudly say that the 92nd Medical Group medics stood up to the call.
People were basically picking up the wounded, if you will, and they just went to work. They did what they were taught. They were professional at every step. You know, they overcame that initial fear that Dean might have been still somewhere close, and they just said, somebody needs our help. And it was everywhere.
You react. You don't, it's nothing, you know, that you can think ahead that you're going to do this for someone or you're going to do that for someone. You just react, and that's what people did.
Some of it was just wordless. People were working together. People were taking care of each other. It was chaos, but it was not. It was people helping people.
the medical group brought in mental health professionals from different bases and offered all of us who had any desire for counseling to take advantage of that. And unfortunately, I did not do that. And when I look back in hindsight, I probably should have. And if I were to do this again, I would.
Talk about it a lot. Talk about it to anybody that'll listen. And especially with those who experienced it with you, you know, like where were you, what happened, what did you go through, what did you see?
My mom was there to help, as I said, and she was a great resource, just, you know, because moms are just terrific. I was really just very, very lucky that how that all worked out. But yeah, they had initially a crisis management team, and they had everybody come together shortly after the incident and talk about it.
You know, you just have to understand that this was a point in time. This very tragic thing happened. A lot of people's lives were affected and changed dramatically forever. But I'd say that, you know what, if it's like me, I know Dr. London, Dr. Brigham, I cared about them both. They were very good friends. And I remember, you know, the horseshoes, you know, playing horseshoes, even drinking a beer with them, you know, going hunting up on Spokane Mountain, and time we spent together as a group, as a clinic, and families. And I remember that. And that's what I took with me. I didn't take that tragedy where Dean came in and murdered, you know, two good friends of mine and other people. That was a negative, and I just pushed that aside and, you know, keep the good, get rid of the bad.
I don't believe that there's ever any way that anybody can be prepared for this kind of thing or how you feel about it. But you need to talk it over. You can't just bottle it up inside and think that nobody is interested in hearing what you have to say about it.
The one thing that has always been on my heart for the families of the people that were lost, you know, I want them to know that they're not forgotten. They are not forgotten because they have paid the ultimate price in this tragedy. And just know that they were loved and they're not forgotten.